read the records which we had written on our file. So let's comment out this portion that we did, or let's remove it for simplicity. No, we must not remove it. Now, to read the file, to read the records from the file, it's very easy. And to do so, you must first create a temporary object of student class. So I must specify one more constructor. That's a default constructor with no arguments. It simply loads, instantiates the temporary object. Now to read it, we must first call a method called Initialize Read. So this method called Initialize Read helps in telling the database class the arguments or the members that we want to read. So since you can specify the members that you want to read, for example, you can specify here as a string the members name, marks and roll number. Name, comma, marks, comma, roll number. If you want to read name, marks and roll number. But if you just want to read name and marks of all the records, just specify name and marks. And if you want to just read name, just specify name. Or if you want to read all the members, then don't specify anything, just call temp.initialize read. Once you are done, then it means you have specified the database class, the attributes that you want to read from the flat database file. Okay, so now let's start reading our records. Now there is a method that the database class provides us, has more records. This method returns true if there are more records in the file, and if there are no more records to be read, then it returns false. So we can use this has more records in a loop like this, while temp.has more records. Till then we will continue in the loop, and when this method returns false, we will exit out of the loop. Now in this method, what will we do? We will read the record. So to read the record, there is a simple method temp.read record. Okay, so temp.read record, and once we have read the record, once this method gets executed, all the information that the database class reads from the file will be transferred to the temporary object that we had, to this temp object. Like when this statement executes, temp.read record executes, all the information or the record read once will be transferred to the temp object, so that we can use this temp object to call show method. Okay, and we had specified the show method to print the name, marks and roll number, because we are reading all the records. So this is very simple. First create a temporary object, then tell the database class what attributes you want to read, and then continue in the loop till you read all the records. Temp.has more records, tell us whether more records are available or not, and temp.read record simply reads the record and stores all the information in the temporary object that you created, and then we call temporary.show to actually show all the methods. Okay, so let's compile it. We must save it and then compile in a way that we did in the previous video. Java C #cp space dot semicolon database dot jar space demo dot java. Oh, one error is there. Unreported exception, input output exception must be caught or declared. Okay, so we must handle input output exception. And one more thing, when you are writing the program, you must handle database exception also, because the methods of the database class throws database exception. So you must either handle it using try catch block, or you can explicitly specify that the main throws database exception. Now since it also throws input output exception, so I am writing it here, input output exception. Okay. Oh, okay, we don't need to specify, we must specify only exception, that is the upper class, the super class of all exceptions, since we are not handling this. And if you want to handle, you can use the try catch block. Okay, the program compiled. Now we want to run the program to read the records. Java cp space dot database dot jar space demo. Okay, see, here we got the exception, file name not known exception. It's basically a database exception, and this exception is coming because we have not told the database class that from which file we want to read. So see, here the message is coming, either create file first or load file before reading a record. So we need to create file first or load file. So since we had created the file in the previous video where we wrote records, now we will be reading it, so we must call the load file method to load the file. So student dot load file, and specify the name of the file from which you want to read. So since the name of the file was student, we are specifying here student, so it will read from the student.db file that stores all the database information, that stores all the information in the form of let file database. So we specified this. Now let's save it and run it again. Oh, sorry, let's compile and run. See, now we were able to run it, and we got all the information that we had written. Name Tom, marks 50, roll number 1. Name Shahrukh, marks 69, roll number 2. Name Eddie, marks 40, roll number 3. Name Amir, marks 50, roll number 4. And these records A, B, C, D that we had written now. So the first 4 records are the records that we wrote in the second video, and the last 4 records are the records that we had written just now in this video when we appended the file student. So by this way we got all the records. Understood? So in this video we learned how to append the files, that is, we wrote A, B, C, D objects. The last 4 objects we appended it into the student file, and in the last section we learned how to read all the records from our flat file database. So all the records which were written were read, and we were able to show it using the show method which we created in our student class. In the next video we will see how to update these records after reading, that is, after reading the records. If we want to update any record, then we'll be able to update it very easily using the update method. So I'll see you in the next video. Okay.